Maul Shadow Lord is one of the most anticipated Star Wars projects after so many years. It's because of iconic character of Maul. Star Wars has now a unique opportunity to explore a story from the perspective of villains. There were attempts at that before, but with Maul you can't back out of this idea. You really need to sell this story from the perspective of bad guy. Sam Witwer, voice actor of Maul, described the show as bad guys versus the worst guys. And I think Maul is one of the best villains we can follow in this story. He's still a bad guy, he has done some terrible things, but seeing the story from his perspective is something fascinating that I really look forward to. Maul sees the world differently, and how he feels about the Empire and the current state of the galaxy will be really interesting to watch. And also, we know about his tragic history and tragic past. He is an evil person, but he was forced to be, and it's not apologizing him for his actions, but yeah, there is still this tragedy behind this character. The time we will be seeing Maul in this show is very different from how we saw him later in Star Wars Rebels. In Rebels, he's more broken, without his syndicate, he's completely alone and desperately trying to get revenge on his enemies. That led him to nothing more than his eventual demise. Maul in Shadow Lord will be more focused Maul and determined, trying to change the current state of galaxy. We know that he won't be successful, but what will be his journey? He tries to save what he can from his criminal organization, but I think he will also try to understand how Palpatine's empire works, and he will plan to destroy it. Even though those plans would crumble, how it comes to this will really be interesting to witness. And this first official teaser trailer was something else. I mean, this new animation style looks gorgeous, and of course we see some of the story points that will be really important. For example, new planet Genix. This will be the planet where Maul will be with his criminal organization, and he will have a trouble there with local police. And also we see Maul's new apprentice, and she is really inspired by Darth talent, but it won't be the same character. We see that she is a former Jedi, so there will be some other story, and Maul will take on Jedi as an apprentice. It's really interesting that he will corrupt someone in the light side, and that will be also really interesting story. And we also saw that Inquisitors were after Maul, with Marok saying that Palpatine wants him dead. What I think certainly must happen in this show is seeing Maul fight Vader. Some fans can take it as a simple fan service, but I think this was already set up. In Star Wars Rebels on Malachor, we witnessed Maul's return. He is stranded there. There was a plan, but he was lost. After he was discovered by Ezra Bridger and brought to his allies, Kanan Jarrus and Ahsoka Tano, Maul seemed like a friend at first. Obviously, he had his angle at the situation, and he wanted to activate the temple to get revenge on all his enemies. When Ahsoka asks him why he's working so hard to keep them there, Maul responds with, "I cannot defeat Vader alone." This small sentence could possibly tell us more about their history. As Maul delivers this line, he seems desperate, kind of scared, like there was a confrontation before and it didn't end well for Maul. So I think this is what the show will build up to, a fight between Maul and Vader. We know that Empire hunted Maul and that the Inquisitors knew about him, so I think Maul bothered Empire so much for such a long amount of time that Palpatine ran out of patience and sent Vader to destroy him once and for all. Or Maul interfered with Vader during his planning. Let's not forget that Maul knew Vader more than his other enemies. He knew him on more personal level. Thanks to his vision before Order 66, Maul put pieces together. Anakin Skywalker was key to everything, and his former master, Darth Sidious, would corrupt him and make him his new apprentice. So Maul knows who Vader is, and with that knowledge, he would maybe even taunt him about it, which would make it even more personal for Vader. In Star Wars Legends continuity, we got something really close to this scenario. In Star Wars Tales comic, we saw Vader arriving on Lava Moon, Salakar 6, and Vader was after rebels who stole Death Star plans. However, this place seemed weird, no rebels, just cultists, and they despised Vader. In their opinion, he wasn't true Sith, worthy of being Palpatine's apprentice. So they made a replacement. When Vader goes to slay these cultists, They are saved by Darth Maul, which shocks Vader. In this battle, Vader basically needs to prove that he is superior Sith compared to Palpatine's original apprentice. Vader knows this cannot be Maul and calls him a sham, but Maul argues that Vader is a sham because he's still got light inside of him. And that is not true for the Sith, as in his case, hatred and rage are eternal. Maul really makes Vader angry in this fight, giving him kicks, punches, and also calling him Jedi. They get near lava, which can remind us of Duel on Mustafar with Vader and his former Jedi Master. The cultists watch from afar and are sure Maul is going to win this. At times it seems like they are equals, but Maul gets upper hand and cuts Vader with lightsaber several times, damaging him badly. Maul tells him that he is more machine than man, and machine cannot hate like true Sith. When Vader is injured, it looks like Maul is going to kill him. The fight turns, however, when Vader uses the Force to pull Maul's lightsaber to him and stabs both himself and Maul. Of course, Vader can survive this injury thanks to his suit, but Maul can't. And when he's dying, his last words are a question to Vader, what he hates so much that he was able to defeat him. Vader replies simply, myself. And with that, Maul dies, but it wasn't truly Maul. When Vader confronts these cultists, they are surprisingly destroyed by Palpatine with Force Lightning, and Vader is shocked and asks what Sidious is doing here. He also asks him how these cultists brought Maul back, with Sidious mysteriously telling him that there are some ways to bring someone back. Cultists believed they could make Maul superior apprentice, and they were wrong. Vader asks if Sidious knew about this, and Palpatine denies it, so they leave. I think it's clear that all of this was set up by Palpatine, who always challenged Vader in some ways. This battle from another continuity showed us what a menace Maul was for Vader, but at the same time, it wasn't truly Maul, though it was the closest we got to this scenario. In Star Wars canon continuity, I think the battle would go drastically different from Legends. Did you know that originally Maul was supposed to die in Star Wars Rebels Season 2 finale? On Malachor, he would have fought Vader and been killed by him. I think it was better decision that they didn't include this in Season 2 finale, as the real emotional highlight of the episode was Ahsoka meeting Vader face to face and their fight. There wouldn't be enough space for Maul's ending, and they just brought him back, so why end his story that quickly? I'm rather glad they ended with the story with Obi-Wan on Tatooine. That was a masterpiece, their final fight, but what was the deleted idea for Rebels that tells us how people behind the show and behind the story thought about their fight. Of course, Vader was victorious. When we look at previous fights with Maul, Ahsoka was really able to hold her own against him, and she was trained by Anakin, so yes, I think that makes sense. Vader is basically more powerful. Vader is simply more powerful, and yeah, I know that this would take place later in the timeline, but still, even Maul is powerful Darksider. Vader is on whole other level. Maul is just destined to lose here. When the Inquisitors sees him on Malachor, they are kind of surprised that he lives, so I think in their battle it was really unknown if Maul even survived it. There was probably a big explosion or something like that, so Vader kept the Inquisitors on him just in case. Vader would totally destroy Maul in a fight if that happens, and Maul would be scared like in the past when he fought Sidious. This battle would be really interesting to see, so I would be really glad if we explore Vader and Maul confrontation in this series. What do you think about this theory, and what are your theories about this show? Let me know all of that in the comments down below. This video takes a lot of my time, so to support me you can like, comment, subscribe or share. I'll see you next time.